Hello viewers, this is your host Ashish Chopra welcoming you once again to your own very program To The Point, where we meet people from cross sections of society who are not only trying to make their own lives meaningful but also the lives of others meaningful. We have a very interesting guest with us today, Mr. Rakesh Mathur, who is the president of Welcom Heritage Group of Hotels. He has now come to Northeast. They have taken over 3 properties in Northeast and are planning to support and promote heritage tourism in Northeast. Welcome to Northeast Television, Rakesh.
Thank you, Ashish.
Rakesh, what has been your experience over the period of few months that you have been consistently coming to Northeast?
Ashish, first and foremost, I must admit that my exposure and knowledge of the Northeast was very, very limited. So, in a nutshell, it has been a tremendous new experience, which is exciting, full of full of potential to promote tourism, and it has been a great experience in a way, very educative also.
You have been actively associated with INTAC, and INTAC recently made an inroad into Northeast by opening various chapters, Tripura, Nagaland, and for the first time in Northeast, actually, INTAC organized such a big meeting in Kohima, where they moved in a resolution to, or a resolve to promote and support heritage tourism in the entire Northeast, and a lot of bigwigs from Delhi had actually come down. How was your Kohima experience?
Ashish, one thing I would like to, before I answer the full question, I'd like to say is that tourism in India per se is actually only heritage tourism. India is only selling its heritage to the foreign tourist. Even domestically, what are we promoting? We are promoting heritage tourism. Let us take the foreign tourist, the foreign visitor who comes to do business in Delhi, Bombay, Madras, etc. If he takes off to do a tour, where does he go? If he is in Delhi, he'll go to Jaipur, Agra, Jodhpur, etc. And what is he seeing? He is seeing our country's heritage. If he is in Calcutta and decides to come to the Northeast, what will he see in the Northeast? He will visit the Brahmaputra, he will visit Majoli Island, he will visit Kaziranga, etc. So, tourism in our country is all about our heritage, whether it is man-made or whether it is our natural heritage, God-given heritage. And to my mind, heritage tourism in our country lies mostly in rural areas. Our heritage lies in rural areas. So there is a direct link between rural areas and heritage tourism. Therefore, INTAC, which safeguards our country's heritage and culture, has a vital role to play in the whole process. Talking about my experience, I think there was one stream that ran throughout the conference and almost everybody spoke about it. It was that the Northeast can only be promoted to the foreign tourist as well as to the Indian domestic tourist, provided it is sold as one product and not as, Sikkim selling Sikkim, Assam selling Assam, Mizoram selling Mizoram, etc. What we need to do is to put everything together in one basket and come out with specific tours which are promotable, because the customer wants a varied experience. Everybody is selling mountains and hills, so the person will not go everywhere to see mountains and hills. Similarly, there are so many tribal cultures here which are unlimited. So let us come out with specific tours for 7 days, 14 days, 20 days, and then promote them.
So you want a package sort of a tour program for the clients who come in or for the tourists who come into Northeast, so that they can see what is happening in the entire Northeast region.
Absolutely, because if you want to promote the Northeast, a package has to be made which will give the best to the customer, and then he has to be exposed to the entire whatever the package has to offer. Because the customer has very little knowledge, so if you mix, let us say for a 7-day tour, you put the Brahmaputra experience, add a jungle experience, send him up to a monastery, and define a circuit which will give him the best exposure to the region.
Okay, now this is your third visit in probably 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
First time you came on a recce and you confined your visit to in and around meeting people, Guwahati, and then a little bit of Shillong and back.
Right.
Second time you sort of were far more extensive, where you visited Kaziranga, various places. You visited some of the heritage properties. Now third time you've been even far more extensive, in the sense that you went to Kohima and then you came back from Kohima,
Right.
and then you went to Bomdila all the way, came back, and then
Yes.
you went up all the way to Shillong, Cherrapunji, and everything.
Right.
Which part of Northeast fascinated you the most?
Every part. I mean, I can only say that there is not a single part which I can be, which I can play favorites with. I think every part has a tremendous unique offering to be, to make. And whereas in Cherrapunji, it was a great discovery of watching the rain, experiencing the rain, the clouds, etc., and the beautiful terrain, the waterfalls. It's God-given nature, right? In Nagaland, it was the culture of the various tribes which we were exposed to. In Assam, it's the mighty Brahmaputra and the Majoli Island, the Kaziranga. So I mean, everything has something unique to offer. So I would say that like every part of the country, this also is a very different sort of a mix of good experiences.
Now that you have made inroads in Northeast,
Yes.
apparently you have taken over 3 properties.
Four.
4 properties in Northeast, uh, in Johrat and in Shillong,
And also in Gangtok and
and
Darjeeling.
also in Gangtok and Darjeeling.
Right.
Tell us something about the properties which ITC Welcome Heritage has taken over, and what are the plans that they have as far as these properties are concerned to boost tourism and also develop the economy of the region.
Yeah. Ashish, tourism is a result of, I think, 3 basic ingredients. The first ingredient is, to my mind, the product. The product is, what is it that you are selling and promoting? It includes the property, the place where you are staying, the environment, and the activity that you come for. For example, you go to Manali, let us say, to do, let us say, skiing, and then you have a good hotel to stay in. So that is how I define the product, the tourism product. The second thing is the infrastructure, not only for the customer to reach the product, but also be comfortable while he's experiencing the product. And the third thing, of course, is to take this whole package to the customer, the marketing of the product. My thought is that for tourism to grow, these 3 essentials have to be put in place. And I'm sorry to say, but the Northeast is lacking in all 3. Whereas the product offering, as far as the product offering is concerned, tremendous standards are lacking in hotels. Also,
Why? Why is it so? Because you've seen so many properties.
I have seen so many properties, but I think there has to be a general awareness on the needs of the modern customer, which is currently lacking.
So you mean to say the very basics is not available?
Well, I would
in a
say
lot of these exotic places or good locations. where
I would say the
program
locations
like
are
this is going
good.
on?
Yeah, I would say the locations are good, but a lot needs to be done as far as basics like hygiene, sanitation, cleanliness, safety, security, etc. is concerned. Even guest needs, hot water, cold water, power, etc. Television, etc. The basic things that a customer needs when he's traveling, and which have now become part of a product offering, are greatly lacking in most of the places that I stayed, especially on the hygiene and sanitation and the skills front.
Surprisingly so, because if you compare the villages of Northeast with a lot of villages in the rest of the country,
Yes.
they are probably the cleanest. In fact, there is one village in Meghalaya,
Yes.
which has been rated by many international magazines as the cleanest village in Asia.
Yes.
So it's quite interesting, that diversity and contrast, where actually the hotel rooms are not all that clean, and the villages are so clean. Maybe they should actually learn lessons from the rural
Absolutely.
people as to how to develop cleanliness.
I totally agree with you, but cleanliness in a hotel is very different from cleanliness in a home. In a home, you don't have wall to wall carpeting, whereas in a hotel, you have wall to wall carpeting. Now, it's the technical aspects of keeping the carpet hygienic, clean, pest free, which is lacking. Therefore, hygiene and cleanliness is not a result of cultural habits, but lack of knowledge and skills. So, in other words, as part of infrastructure, what I'm trying to say is that you need, besides roads, connectivity, communication, etc., you need to develop skills also and knowledge.
So, do you have an action plan where you will be training these hotel personnel into developing of skills and things like that?
Yes, that is our job. Being the first national organization to step into the Northeast and to, in a way, pioneer tourism here for the rest of the country, we've given a lot of exposure now in international and national newspapers and media and magazines. I think one of the key values that we will bring is a little bit of professionalism into what we are doing, and that includes training staff, which is a part of which is part of our job. Um, we will also work on improving the product and making it up to date to cater to the needs and demands of the modern customer. Finally, the third aspect which I would like to elaborate a little on is the marketing aspect. I spoke about the product, the infrastructure. Finally, the marketing. Marketing requires consistent effort. It is not that, Northeast goes and puts up a stall in an exhibition. It's a one-time job and you come back and forget about it. Marketing requires consistent effort in promotion. And that is where it's very important for the Northeast to link itself with a global marketing organization. And I'm not saying that Welcom Heritage is the only platform. All I'm saying is that linkages with major companies which are national and international will bring about a lot of qualitative change in the product offering.
And also the lifestyle.
And also the lifestyle. And I would say that talking about the product offering which everybody feels, all participants in the INTAC conference felt should be that Northeast should be sold as one product package. I think one of the greatest examples of this initiative is your book itself, Ashish. You're putting all the cuisines of the Northeast under one umbrella. And that is the example that perhaps tourism needs to emulate and put the product under one umbrella and see how it sells.
Northeast is so diverse and it's also culturally very different. Which part of Northeast fascinated you the most?
Personally, I'm a mountain man. So I was very fascinated I drove up to Arunachal, I went up to Cherrapunji, and I'm actually personally fascinated by the mountains. But I don't want to be partial or impartial. When I'm promoting, I'm looking at it very professionally, and I think I personally feel that the customer needs a package which exposes him to the best, to the natural beauty of the mountains, to the beauty of the river, to the beauty of art, craft, culture, tradition, etc. So my personal choice is the mountains.
Okay,
Yeah.
one more question.
Yes.
You have traveled all over India.
Absolutely.
You have traveled all over the world.
Yes.
Northeast has everything to offer.
Yes.
It has a great river.
Yes.
It has wonderful mountains. It has the best jungles in the world.
Yes.
Because two of our major national parks are listed in the World Heritage Site.
Absolutely.
It's a biodiverse hotspot.
Yes.
How would you compare Northeast with the rest of the country that you have seen? In terms of uniqueness or in terms of diversity?
Yeah.
Say on a scale of 1 is to 10.
Yeah.
Let me be a little more tricky.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 is to 10,
Yeah.
how many marks would you give Northeast as compared to the other parts of the country?
It's a very difficult question to answer, but I would say that the product offering in the Northeast would probably be uh, 7 or 7.5 on a scale of 1 is to 10. See, Northeast has a lot of natural beauty.
Yes.
It has a lot of tradition and culture. There are many other places which have a lot of tradition and culture. We need not compare cultures. There are a lot of places which have uh, natural beauty also. There are some places which are not as naturally sort of, have the God-given natural assets. But there are pockets of excellence everywhere. So I would not compare Northeast, but I would place it 7.5 on a scale, because let us say that Northeast lacks in monuments.
Okay, now
for
let me
example.
put it the other way.
Yeah.
In terms of a marketing terminology,
Yeah.
you have 44 properties
Yes.
all over the entire Northeast. You have
Yes.
taken 3.
Yes.
How would you sell these 3 or 4 properties
Yes.
vis-a-vis the other properties?
But primarily, in promoting a destination, I think the first thing to do is to create a circuit. And and I go back to my initial point where I feel as a marketing man and a person with almost 34 years of experience in the industry, that the Northeast product, we need to create a circuit, a saleable circuit. At the moment, I have Darjeeling, uh, which, if I may say, is virtually an integral part of this region, though it may not be traditionally part of the Northeast states. Sikkim is yet to be commissioned. It will take another 6 to 8 months, or maybe a year.
But you've signed the agreement.
We've signed the agreement, and the product is under completion. Then I have Shillong and Jorhat. But this does not mean that the product is complete. I would like to, look at the tremendous traditional offerings of Nagaland, the beauty of Arunachal. So there are certain linkages, critical, vital linkages missing in my circuit.
What was your Nagaland experience?
Well, Nagaland, to me, I was fascinated by their tribal culture, and whatever we were exposed to. Mind you, we had very little time, but there was this village that we were taken to, which has been set up by the government.
Konoma.
Exactly, and where they display tribal culture. My biggest regret there was, which I also explained, that was not a living monument for the tourist, because I wish it was active, alive, and people were staying there and experiencing actual day-to-day activity. And what they had there was just, the different the structures representing different tribes and so on. But I think that village should become a live village, and there should be hotels around that area so that people can go and experience. But undoubtedly a very unique experience.
In the entire Northeast, the hospitality comes very natural.
Yes.
There's a lot of warmth. You must have noticed in Nagaland how Nagas, they just enjoy entertaining. They are extremely warm. You go to an Assamese home, the simplicity, the warmth, and with the tradition that they welcome you. If someone was to set up, if you were to send some clients and they had their traditional homes here, which they would probably want to convert into heritage hospitality units,
Yes.
would you encourage them to do things like that?
Yeah. Certainly, provided there was enough accommodation within this home, because see, whatever you do, it has to be economically feasible and viable also. Once you have a customer coming into your home, unless you have the right backup, in terms of kitchen, number of rooms, etc., it would be a futile exercise to convert every home into a hotel. Mind you, what you say about Northeast hospitality is unique to our whole country. I think wherever I have been, everybody has been very hospitable, whether it's Tamil Nadu, whether it's Kerala, whether it's Himachal, Uttaranchal. The tradition of hospitality runs continuously throughout this land. So we are no different in the Northeast from any other part of the country. I think what perhaps is lacking here is the skills and the infrastructure to cater to the needs of the modern customer, which is where we need to focus.
So, how do you think this infrastructure will be developed?
Well,
Because sometimes resources are very important and they need to be engineered or generated to a large extent. So, how would you support resource mobilization?
Yeah, my view is that if technocrats or I think I'm a believer in private-public partnership. Number one, I think the government should play the role of a service provider and should motivate and incentivize the professional or the people with capital or the investor, may I put it this way, to set up to invest in infrastructural areas. For example, if you need to build a road, you can always bring in a private investor and make a module which is viable for both. The government has nothing to lose in the long run. The investor should be a gainer in the medium or the short, not the short run, but at least he should be able to recover his investments. Now, not only in infrastructure, but even in building hotels, in building roadside facilities, whether it's restaurants or toilets or etc. If you bring about private-public partnership, look at the example of
The PPP model.
Yeah, the PPP. Look at the example of Sholab Shauchalayas, which are public toilets, but they are so successful as a financial model.
Mr. Bindeshwari
Pathak from
Pathak,
yeah.
yes.
So roads, mini power plants, communication links, etc. I think the best model is private-public partnership, but the government must realize that they will have to give incentives and motivation to these people, and therefore, in the ultimate analysis, what you need to do is to come out with a joint tourism policy.
Any other properties you've identified in Northeast as part of the heritage chain?
Well, when in the Northeast.
Yes.
Well, I've just been to Nagaland and Arunachal, besides Shillong and Cherrapunji and Assam. I did see some properties in Arunachal, and I have identified a certain, some linkages in potential linkages in Nagaland. A little too early to talk about them because there's many a slip between the cup and the lip. But as I did earlier, when I used Darjeeling to step into Assam, when I used Assam to step into other states, I think it's a gradual process, and as we grow, we will gradually grow into other regions, but I have identified some properties.
Well, I hope that under the part patronage and part initiative of ITC Welcom Heritage, a lot of progress will happen in Northeast, and Northeast will benefit the cultural, there will be cultural conservation, there will be efforts of that sort. Thank you for coming to NTV.
Thank you. Thank you.
আপোনাৰ ঘৰৰ বদনাম ৰচিলে আপুনি ভাল পাব জানো? কোনোবাই আপোনাৰ গাঁও বা চহৰখন বেয়া বুলিলে আপুনি ভাল পাব জানো?